Tech, and I'm very excited to show you our latest invention from the Innovation Hub here at Wildtech. We've recently taken a fresh look at the scheduling and utilization process that a lot of professional organizations use in managing resources. Typically, the stuff that's captured on a whiteboard or so that becomes very difficult as the teams grow and expand specifically into different regions, different technology, or skill sets that need to be managed across the board. So we thought we'll have a look at this, unpack it, and throw AI at it. Um, I'm going to show. I'll just jump straight into the demo, and then I'll talk you through what we sort of landed on. Firstly, we wanted to create a very different views. All right. One is we wanted to create a view from the project. So we'll have, for example, specific projects here. All these projects will have phases associated with them. And under each phase, you might have specific roles associated. Under the role, you might have resources associated. And you'll be able to see an allocation there. Typically, the number of days, etc., under allocated under these. And I'll break this one down here, degeneration. And you can see that there's resources scheduled under each one of these. All right. The way that we've sort of created, we worked on a concept of a planned schedule as well as a confirmed or actually locked in schedule. And it's represented here with a light color and a dark color specifically for the different schedules. We've also indicated different colors for non-billable, sales related, R&D or training, admin and leave. So just to create a visual across the board. All right. The same view then is protracted more from a resource schedule. So you can see the different resources. In this case, we actually plugged it into something like Entra and pulling up the org chart from Entra and showing you the different resources that may be locked in under there. And you can see just on a resource side what they'd be busy with and the various projects that they may be allocated to on that time schedule. All right. So this just makes it easier to track where the resources are and where they may be. All right. As you can see, this time can be marked non-billable. You can approve the time or lock it in, or you can move it as I've shown over here. Let me just quickly click on that and move it just to show you this interactive board. Sorry, I'm moving this to another resource. Yeah, we move it. Yeah, move as planned, and you can see it's moved it to that resource. All right. The idea here really is simple. What we typically do here is we throw in and we said, where will AI best be served? And what we thought is, if you have a look at a typical project, there'll be specific roles that are required on that project from a professional services point of view, and then skill sets underneath those roles. All right. These are typically can be set up front. So you'll have roles. So administrator, you'll have an administrator, and then you can assign specific skills to that that role. All right. The idea here is that we create those up front, and you can even set this against a specific project or type of project, etc., where those skills would be required. All right. The second part of this would be to have users or the specific people or resources that you're looking at. And what we did is we put in the key information around those users in the organization, but we also linked them or ingested their CV, typically generated from LinkedIn, etc. And then from that CV alone, AI was actually able to pull in and marry up the specific industry experience, the related skills that they may be associated with, and pull up that information from there. Obviously, this is all editable, but it does a lot of the grunt work there for you upfront. The idea then is once you have a project, and we've set this up in such a way that it would sit over your digital landscape and absorb projects or ingest projects from other systems, either your CRM or your ERP where your projects are created. In this case, I'm just going to upload a project over here. All right, open. All right. And once this project is created, it's ingesting a whole heap of stuff and it's saying under the discovery phase, there's different phases here. Under the discovery phase, for example, there's a 2-day budget. And within that, we need a process analysis. We need a business analyst and a functional analyst. And then we can just maybe indicate other skills that may be required for that role. All right, same with design, etc. All right. Then what we do is once we've created this, I can go and match staff. So what's happening now is AI is having a look at the skills, the roles required, and then it would go and do an AI allocation. And this AI allocation has been worked in highly definable based on what you need. So you can even go and update the prompt and create a prompt for each project, depending on the type of project and the type of allocation you would do. For example, you would not necessarily have a tester coming in before development is done, or you may allocate a project manager only for 1 hour on a given day where other resources for that project are allocated, etc. So that way you can get a quick planning done very effectively using AI with not too much effort. All right, we've created other indicators where there's some shortness or there's not enough time spent here, and it'll basically call out that where there may be over budget or over allocation used in this realm. Okay, I'll just accept this, maybe accept this. Uh, all right, and whatever you basically put the project in there, and you can see it's done an allocation, yeah, and it's allocated the specific resources that it found necessary for this project. All right, there is the ability to come in, modify this, and if you don't like the resources that were allocated, you could remove them. All right, you could do a manual allocation. All right, or you could just see as planned for that, do a manual assignment, and maybe go select me, for example. You can see what my availability is, see what availability there, and maybe doing a manual assignment there too, if you needed to. All right. In this case, I'll just ignore it. I'll just cancel that, and save that across. All right. So once you've got your allocation there and you have a look at your project schedule, you'll actually see that it's been scheduled accordingly. All right. Now, what would be handy here is, depending on the internal customers' processes, they would then go in and approve the necessary projects that were there. So I could come in here for the necessary project. Is there some design work here? And you could maybe just go in, come in through here and approve the time that I set for those projects. All right. There's a solution architecture. You can go and select approve those times in there. So that way, project managers can control the spend and the burn rate of those projects, and also just approve the time that makes sense for that time. Sometimes, from a resource point of view, you'd also have to have a look. And then within here, you might see, all right, my resources here are 12 hours for Raj. That's probably too much for him on that day. Let's remove maybe this form, remove that booking for him on that day, so we don't over exhaust the work that he's done. All right. And you can basically see that and approve the time where it's necessary there. In this way, you're easily locking in the time for the different projects, and people are just confirming before the time what it looks like. Now, the idea here is, once it's done, people would go do their work. They could do their work allocation. You can go and have a look at your assignments that you're given on a specific day. But more importantly, we can copy this to that person's timesheet entry or work report, or whatever you want to call, where they get signed off by the customer. In this case, I can go through to just maybe pull up Raj, and I can see the work that he's done. And it's basically showing you all the planned and approved time that he's got. So he will have an idea of what that is. Now, he had obviously changed that for the time that he spent. He may have spent 3 hours there and maybe 6 hours on this, for example. You can go put his notes in, save draft. He can basically put his details in and just say, yep, meetings and coding, for example, all right, whatever it was, apply that down and save that. And when he's ready, he can go and post that down the line. The interesting thing is, once he posts that week, we can come back to the project schedule, and you can see all the timesheet entries as they've been updated now with this little widget on it, this little pencil mark on it to show that the time has been entered. Right. Now, the key thing about this is that you can actually track time going forward, your prediction and utilization. You get a clear view of what that looks like going forward. And maybe going back, you can actually see and actually monitor what the time and utilization has been back. So it creates a forward and backward view. The other key thing here is that you can see how you're tracking over time. You can have a look at your overall projects, see how you're burning on these projects, what your overrun would be. You can measure in the same kind of way, in just a smart way. Yeah, you can measure the annual leave, etc., including any time spent on R&D and sales and billable time if you wanted to get a track there, maybe admin time you want to overrun, and you can do that for specific departments. Enterprise. There you go. You can see how you're sort of tracking utilization, etc., across the department if you ever wanted to work that out. More importantly, you can see the planned as opposed to confirmed time to marry that up. All right. So the key thing here is that you get a deep analysis very, very quickly. All right. AI is doing by far a lot of the donkey work here. So it's marrying up the resources. It's doing the allocation of those resources. It's pulling the skills from the CVs, etc., to accelerate that process. And more so, it's managing the time going forward. So it's also doing natural checks. If you're over budget, etc., it's pulling that out. Or if a resource has been over resourced, it'll give you that notification, which is a lot of information you're getting across the board. Now, if you're thinking about a broader team where you're working in multiple different countries and you're working with multiple different skill sets, sometimes you'd have the capability now of selecting a role of someone that's sitting in another division, and you can make that request for that resource to your project very, very easily, or AI will try and find that person before you go and hire someone else. So it actually tries to drive a little bit more of the optimization part of resource scheduling. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Looking forward to getting any feedback. And if this is of interest to you, please do reach out. A special thanks to Raj and Pierre, who have been instrumental in helping deliver this solution. Thank you, guys. Bye.